Today my life is, I find myself very confident. I find myself doing something positive in my life. My family is together. I can see my studies progressing. I aspire to be one day an investment banker working in the economic field. And I'm helping other people with the positivity and the life-changing messages that I've received, but it's not always been like that. From a young age, very early age in school, there was a point in time I got kicked out by my parents out of the house. I was very easily influenced. One of the things that influenced me the most and really affected how I thought as a young person before I came was the addiction to pornography. Pornography is not normally seen as something bad, not normally seen as a big issue in society today. But when you take in the consequences and the effect it has on young men like it did to me, it really changes the way you see women. And one day when you do decide to go and settle down and actually have a proper family, it will affect your relationship with your spouse. For me, what triggered the change in my life was just thinking about the small I had and the great things that God promised. And coming to the church, coming to the meetings consecutively, faithfully, I really learned that with my faith, I could unlock all the potential inside of me and open up new doors for me to excel in all areas of my life. So not just in my relationship with God, which is the most important, of course, but my studies have improved so much because I've cleared out all the rubbish in my head. The negative influences of friends don't affect me. I'm a cool guy, I go to college, I have friends that aren't in the church, but obviously I don't let them influence me, but otherwise I'm that positive influence. I'm different and have a positive vibe that affects them, has an effect on them. Whoever's watching that wants to make a positive change in their lives, that wants to have a positive impact on other people, is that don't look at what you're going to lose in the short run, look at what you're going to gain in the long run. In the short run, it may look like it's a lot of work to do, there's a lot of work to be put in, and you're going to have to let go of the sort of enjoyment that the negative people, negative influences around you are offering. But in the long run, through the sacrifice and the hard work, you putting effort into having a relationship with God and pushing for that life change will just be evident and be worth all the fight and worth all the work.
Good evening, this is Finding Answers Live. And on tonight's program, the topic is find your passion. You know, when you have a passion for something, you spring out of bed, you enjoy what you do, you look forward to the day. You know, everything you do, you are driven by your passion. Maybe you have a passion in the job that you are in, right? It's not just a job where you have to work to receive money to pay the bills, but it's something you actually love doing. It's like a hobby, but at the same time, you're getting paid for that hobby. And there are a lot of people who don't or haven't found their passion in life. Maybe a problem has robbed you of enjoying what you do. Are you at a point in life where you haven't found your passion in life? Maybe a situation, problems that you are facing now have taken that away from you and you feel alone. You feel as though you're grinding out the days, the weeks, the months, the years, and life for you isn't enjoyable anymore, right? You exist to pay bills. If that's the way you are, well, let's have a look at this video to describe more about tonight's topic.
Losing enthusiasm about what you are passionate about doesn't necessarily mean that you are no longer passionate about those things. It could mean that you need a break, need to rebalance, need to change how you are pursuing your passion or what medium you're expressing your passion through. It could be that something hasn't felt right for a long time. You may feel frustrated with yourself, or even worse, you have lost all feelings altogether. People who spend their time trying to please others may forget to focus on themselves. But it isn't easy admitting that something isn't working anymore. The loss of your passion may also be difficult to detect. It could have faded over a long period of time, or maybe the passion that you have for things has changed as you get older. But don't give up on the things that really matter to you. Finding your passion and being able to make a career out of it is a dream for most people. But even if this isn't possible for the near future, discovering something that you love can have an amazing effect on your entire life. So why not take some time today thinking about what you used to be passionate about? Are these still your dreams, or have they changed? Either way, you can find your passion.
Yes, you can find your passion. If you don't think that you can find the love, the thing that you enjoy the most, then you can. You may seem as though you're on a long road of, just repetitiveness, things that you don't like doing, you don't enjoy doing. But I tell you, when you are content in life, even what you do, it may not be the best, it may not be actually your passion, but you will have that spring in your step, right? Because you know that things will be better. With me tonight is Victoria. Hi, Victoria.
Hiya.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
So, finding your passion. Is this your passion, what you do?
Of course.
Yes?
Yeah,
Working on TV?
Yeah, because I quit my job, didn't I, as a teacher to do this.
Really?
Yeah, because that was my passion, and then I lost my passion.
Passion
teaching.
changes then, does
Of
it?
course, absolutely. And you can actually lose your passion and not realise it.
Right.
And
Is that what happened in your case?
No, I certainly did realise, yeah.
Yeah?
Yes. And so I did something about it. But you can lose your passion and not really know about it. You can even slip into depression, because they do say that depression and passion are mortal enemies. So that if you do have depression, what happens is you have a reduced amount of a neurotransmitter called dopamine. And if you have this low levels of dopamine, that means you are depressed and you no longer have passion in anything that you do. And that's one very significant indicator that you do actually have depression, is to have a lack of passion. So what they say is things like having a mundane lifestyle and a lack of variety and novelty can cause you to lose your passion. And then people just forget what they've always wanted to do in life, and they just have this repetitive Groundhog Day nature.
Yeah.
And then they find that they've come to near the end of their life and they haven't actually done what they wanted to do.
Yeah. So, it rings bells, right? If your life is dreary, it's the same thing. It's getting up in the morning, going to work, doing the same 9-to-5 job or whatever shift that you do, and there's nothing new, right? You leave your job, you come home, and you have your family, even if you don't, but it's just the same old thing, right? There's no development, there's no variety in your life. Then of course people can become depressed even. So if this is your life, if you feel as though, you know what, I want to change, there are so many things you can do, but maybe you don't have the energy anymore. Maybe you were this very bright, sprightly, energetic person who did lots of things before. You were the life and soul of the party. But something has happened where you've lost your spark. Now you're this boring person anymore. No one wants to be around you. And that's not your fault. Don't blame yourself. But whatever happened to you has taken away your drive, your energy, and now you've lost that passion. The passion to even try and start something new, right? Get up and say, you know what? I'm going to change career. I'm going to take up a new hobby even, right? I'm going to do something. I'm going to help the people in my community. Just do something to add back to society. You've lost that. So we're going to help you, hopefully, to gain that back tonight. Victoria, what's the contact details, please?
So if you'd like to speak to one of our advisors at any point during the show, our number is 020 7686 6300, or you can send us an email. Our email address is help@findinganswers.tv, or talk to us on social media. Send us a tweet, just start your tweets with @FindAnswersTV, or search for us on Facebook, just search for Finding Answers.
Tonight's guest had a lot of problems going on in her life, and it seemed as though her dream was slipping away from her. But today, she's in, like Victoria said, you know, she found her passion, she's doing something that she loves today. So it is possible for your life to change. And as Victoria said, if you want some advice, if you want help, then pick up the phone, give us a call, because maybe the person who will answer that call has their own story to tell, right? We don't just, you know, employ people to answer the phone. These are real life people who have been helped by the power of faith, and they will have their own story. Maybe if you call up, just maybe, that person who answers the call may even have a story similar to yours. Or you just come on a, you know, call us up and tell us about your situation. We will even pray for you, all right? And don't forget, at the end of the program, we will be praying for everyone, all right? So we're gonna go for a break now. When we come back, we're gonna meet tonight's guest. We'll see you after this.
Hi, the Chrissy B Show airs live on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, coming to your homes with entertainment, life issues as well as hard-hitting topics, coupled with friendly and practical advice. I love to look at the happier side of life and believe a person can achieve amazing things when they put their mind to it. The Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life.
Are you a duck? What can it do? It swims, it walks, it flies. But does it do them all well? Yes, a duck can do all of the above, but it's not known for being great at any. So, are you a duck? Rather than attempting to do all things, why not be the best at one thing at a time? You will find you'll actually learn to be great at more things.
So ladies, it's lovely to have you in the studio with me. I'm rather excited.
Does character matter?
If you're married, you shouldn't be flirting with somebody else online.
Forward and back,
Forward and back.
roll on the knee. Relationships and money, can the two really work?
Absolutely.
I think that appearance is important.
How do you define character?
And you want to have that perfect house, but you've got to realise everything happens at the right time.
I've got a friend who puts all her business on Facebook, and I just can't stand to read it.
You're learning already. Do you cook at home?
Yes, I cook.
Mr. Right is just right under your nose.
You get a checklist, but that checklist becomes a shopping list.
But in life, sometimes it's good to be different.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, tonight's topic is Find Your Passion. So let's meet our guest for tonight, Desmarie Davis.
Pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
Desmarie, welcome to the program.
Hi.
Now, you had a lot going on for you, right?
Yes.
Lots of problems that happened in your life. But today, you are quite content, right? Happy in life, but we're going to hear about that later on.
Okay.
So please tell us, where did problems actually start for you?
Problems started for me when I first came to the UK. Really, I was quite young. From Jamaica.
From Jamaica, okay.
Yes. So I was quite young. I was 14, 15, going 15, and basically it started all because of my immigration problem. I was suffering for quite a while with immigration problem, and because of this, it hindered me a lot. Although I attended secondary school, I was going through my last year in secondary school, started sixth form and everything.
Did you come over with family or did you join family here?
I joined family here.
Right.
So yes, so I had my grandparents here, siblings, aunts, uncles. So I could actually say the whole works. They were here.
What was it like then for you then with immigration? Is it not, we hear from other guests, it's like very hard financially speaking, you know, stability, things like that?
Yeah, it was extremely hard. I mean, for the first maybe few years, being young, having family, it's okay up until you get to the stage of being an adult, up until about 18, 19 years old, or maybe even younger, maybe 17, because then you want to do your own thing. You want to be enjoying life. And it would have been very hard to do your own thing when you depend on family members, you know what I mean? And having no status. So it's like basically you were like trapped in a little box. So
did you have other family members who had immigration problems as well?
No, that's the thing. Most of my family, most of them were born here.
Okay.
My siblings, they're okay.
Yeah.
They came here as well when they were young. My brother came when he was 19. So when I joined him, they were all settled, you know, home owners and stuff like that, worked with the government, so they're fine.
So it's just you then?
It was just me.
Right. And how did that affect you, you know, as you settled down, as you said, as you got older and it's like you want to be independent now, you're this, you know, teenager turning into a young woman. So how did it affect you? It
affected me a great deal. Up until the point when, I think it was my last year in sixth form. So now we're getting in the stage of, now we're thinking about future plan, careers, going on to uni. And that was the first hindrance that I came across. Because then I was thinking about going into uni, but yet still I've got no papers. So then I was kind of hindered. And then looking forward onto that, doing other things, as I was saying, being independent, wanting to do your own thing, get your nails done, get your hair done. Your family members won't be able to provide that for you all the time, you know. And then I had like my siblings, they were all like, they were in the 30s, 20s. So they've got their own lives. So it was really hard for me at the time. I couldn't, I mean, a normal child my age or a teenager my age, 17, they were getting like maybe their benefits, they were getting their EMAs, stuff like that. And for me, it wasn't possible. And then besides, living with my brother at the time, it was quite settled and earning a good salary and stuff. Government, he won't even get help himself, not to mention who lives in the house. Right. So we don't get help. So yeah, so it was really hard. It was really hard.
How did it affect your family? I mean, if it was hard for you, I'm sure you must have a kind of outburst sometimes.
Of course, of course.
Who did you have your little squabbles and fights with?
At the age of 16, 17, it was more or less, you know, getting into adolescence and stuff. You go through that process of purity and stuff. So you want to be with now a female of the family. So I had to move from my brother. It was my own decision. And I moved to live with my sister at the time, you know, because I'm going through the stage, maturity and stuff. So I want to speak about girl stuff. So when I went there to live with her, it was hell. We was too much alike, I think it was. Every now and again, we had a little fight.
You and your sister would clash?
Yes, we would clash all the time. For even the simplest little things, we would clash. She's very strong-minded, and therefore, I am myself. Most of the times when we clash, then I'll be put out. So it was really hard. I would be put out, maybe I'd have to go back to my brother's, or I would go to a friend's house, which was really embarrassing for me. Coming from a home in Jamaica at the time, living with my mum and my dad, a proper nuclear family, you know, mum and dad married, you're the youngest one, so you're more or less spoiled. So coming from that home to come to the UK, it was a real struggle. It was a total change for me.
Now, during this period, you had this problem, but also you had what most guests that come on this program talk about, which is spiritual attacks.
Yes.
You started to face that, didn't you?
Yes, I
Every
did.
time we talk about spiritual attacks, Victoria gets a bit...
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to imagine someone, especially if you don't know what a spiritual attack is, you know, it sounds strange. You probably see it in films, right? I can't remember that film, the latest one recently, Paranormal Activity.
That's it.
Right? But it's basically, it was real with you.
Yes, it was.
Tell us what happened in your case.
In my case, it started, if I could drift back a little bit, even before coming to the UK, it started when I was about more or less 11 years old. I remember hearing footsteps while I was sleeping, and it's more or less, it woke me up. But I was still laying there, laying on the bed, not moving, and I could literally hear footsteps in the house, like slippers.
Was it creaky floorboards?
It was more hearing someone pulling their feet while they're walking, their bed slippers, dragging their feet. Right. That's it. So, yeah. So it was more or less that. And I just laid there still. Like, what's that? My gosh. But then, leaving from there, being in the UK at about 15 years old, I used to go to bed, and at times I would feel a pressure, a force, you know.
On top of you?
Yes, on top of me, trying to push me down, pin me down in the bed. So that happened, and it was really like frightening. But I remember, just talking about that, I remember being young, when I was very young, maybe about 9, my mum used to go through this.
The same thing?
Used to go through the same thing. And it's only when I grew older, I realized that it was the same thing. Yeah. But she normally says, actually, I usually hear her in her sleep, or just waking up from her sleep, reciting like a scripture from the Bible. And she always says to me, if anything like this ever happens, then just recite Psalms 23. Right. So
did you ever do that?
Of course I had to.
Did it stop?
It did for a while.
A period of time.
It's not even just for that instant. Right. It doesn't mean tomorrow or later on if I go to sleep, it would not come back. It would.
Right.
So, but just for that instant, you get that release just to wake up.
Right.
So it was like that, and it was really horrible.
That must have been really scary. No one around, right? First of all, it started with the footsteps, but then holding you down.
Yes.
Actually, the same thing happened to my mum. So it never happened to me, but I'm pretty sure you're telling the truth, and you know these things do occur. But you don't kind of tell anyone out of fear that they won't believe you. They think you're crazy. Did you tell anyone? I
didn't. Only for the fact that it's more or less I thought it was normal. I really thought it was normal. I didn't think it even mattered if I told anyone, because they might just think it's normal. Right. As I said, as I grew older, I think, okay, this must be what my mom's talking about. This presence coming.
So because it came from your mum, did you think it was normal to have it because your mum had it?
Yeah, I thought it was normal. I just thought it was normal, and it's no point making a big deal.
The thing is, it got worse. It wasn't just being held down, right? What else happened?
It got worse. It started to happen where I would get crazy dreams, like, and I call it crazy because you just wouldn't expect dreaming about people chasing you, shotting at you, stabbing you, or even something like even a cow, a big cow being thrown onto you and you're just there. So it was.
So these are just weird dreams happening all of a sudden?
Weird dreams, and then on top of that, it got even more worse. Then it turned into more or less having sexual acts
in the dream.
In the dream, that's what it felt like in
Right.
the dream, but it was really happening.
Right.
You understand? It was really happening. I remember going to bed, and it's like I was actually having sexual intercourse. Why? Because then when I finally tried to force myself out of the dream, or using these scriptures from the Bible, then I would be awake, and then you could just actually feel that funny sensation as if you were actually in the act.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And
so it wasn't just a dream.
That's common, as I mentioned, among a lot of guests who have come on the program. If you are new to this program, or you're just hearing this for the first time, or maybe you are going through this, but you don't know what it is. Look, you are not crazy. Desmarie wasn't crazy. But this act, this experience that you are having, it is real. It is a spiritual force, right? An evil presence that works, called a spiritual, in your case, Desmarie, it's in the form of a man, and that spirit is known as a husband, right? Not physically, but a spiritual husband, and that works in relationships. Let me just ask you, how was your love life or relationship, if you had one, at that time?
Horrible.
Were you in a relationship at that time?
I was. In fact, tell the truth, I always had so many admirers, so many. I could literally maybe count on my hand and my foot admirers that I would have. But the only thing is, I would never find the one that I really desired to have, or the one that I decided to maybe start a relationship with. Always have someone else. They're always involved.
So if you start a relationship, it would end. There would always be a problem. You couldn't see a future with that person.
No, I couldn't see a future at all.
Right.
No matter how much I want it to happen, it just wouldn't happen.
So that spirit would say, look, you are mine. You can't have anyone else, even though you try. But it would either end up as nothing, or if you do start a relationship, I'm going to break this up. You are mine.
Yes.
And this spirit would attack you at night.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's very important, because I even remember this just the other day ago. I was thinking, and it came to mind that every time when, for example, I had a partner at the time, and every time he would sleep at the house, it wouldn't come.
Right.
But the minute he's gone, he would come.
Right.
I could say he would come. So it was more or less like that. If he sleeps there, I'm good.
Right.
But the minute he's gone, he would come. But the thing is, even though, so people might say, okay, so why not just live together? But then the living together aspect of that wasn't even good either, because then there was always arguments, or maybe if it's not arguments, then it's more or less mistrust. You know, you'll be thinking, why? I'm hoping that he's not looking out there, stuff like that.
So it's not just the sexual act, but it's that the fact that you're together. I'm going to still bring this division between the two of you because you're mine.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not going to work out with him. You're mine. Right?
Exactly.
If you are going through any of these things, please give us a call. We have a solution for you. And it is not taking medication in any way. It's not, you going into a mental institution. No, prayer works, as you will hear with Desmarie later on in the program. Actually, we're going to go for a break now. She has more to tell, but also the solution, how she found the solution to her life and where she is now. She has a passion for what she wants to do, and actually she's doing it. So we'll see you after this.
The pursuit of happiness. What will make you happy? Success? Fame? New shoes? Financial security? Love? Education? Independence? Family? Sometimes in the pursuit of things we think will bring us happiness, sometimes we fail to see that we aren't happy or we never find it. We live in a world of people. Rather than pursue things to make you happy, what if we all worked to make each other happy? Wouldn't we all be happier? Welcome to your help centre. Conveniently located right here in the heart of Finsbury Park. Open 7 days a week with 4 services daily. There's surely something for everyone. No matter what time of day, there will always be a spiritual advisor on hand ready to speak to you. Or call our 24-hour helpline, your place to open up at any time of the day. If you're looking for motivational advice, a listening ear, or maybe just a prayer to put your mind at ease, then feel free to come in. No problem is too complex, so don't be dismayed. In fact, we have daily sessions that can tackle issues related to every area of your life, from the inside out. There's no appointment necessary, so you're welcome. And what's more, all the services we offer are all completely free. We offer practical, non-judgmental advice and motivational meetings that will give you the encouragement that you've been looking for. Also, if you're looking for special gifts or an inspirational read, then why not visit our bookshop? We have a comprehensive range of books and gifts at great prices. We also offer free childcare facilities during all of our meetings. So if you have little ones, let us take them off your hands. And for teens and youths, express your singing, dance and drama talent right here in our youth group. Proudly one of the biggest youth groups in the UK. If you need our support, you will find it. From the training centre that offers low-cost courses in media, business and language, to support groups for single parents, the elderly and the abused, free, confidential help is available. We work hard to provide for all your needs, from the inside out. Helping people is what drives us. So you're welcome.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, Desmarie was talking before the break regarding the problems that she was facing. She'd mentioned about the spiritual attacks. I want to go back to you, Desmarie. Mm-hmm. With all this going on, which was hard in itself, you started to kind of forget about all of this, right?
Yes.
You started to party.
Yes.
Going out to forget your problems.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I started to party. I was partying at a very young age, maybe about 14, even before I came here. But then it got worse with all these problems and stuff. I used to suffer from terrible migraine, terrible headache. It was so bad where I had to be in the dark. Bearing in mind, I had spiritual problems as well. So I had to stay at home in the dark. But what I did to forget about all of these problems and what was going on, even at home with my family and my sister and stuff, was to go partying. I would party every weekend, every single weekend.
So you would what? Dance? Drink?
Dance.
Would you drink?
I'm not a drinker, no. Right. I wouldn't drink, but dance. I would go out partying.
Just to forget your problems?
Just to forget. Makeup, hair, everything.
The thing is, that's for, I don't know, half the night, the whole night. When you get home, what would happen?
I get home, and for me, because I wasn't that person who would go out to drink, but getting home, waking up the next day to the same old life, it was so depressing. Right. Just to sit there and to think, my gosh, like 4 years, 5 years passed, I could actually be in uni, I could actually be going in my career or something. It's just to wake up to that.
So that's the thing, you didn't have that kind of passion. You've lost your drive, you know, what you wanted to do, your goals that you'd set for yourself. All of that was out the window. Out the window.
Even though I had plans, I had goals, I know I wanted to achieve this, you know, and this is it. You're at college or you're at school or even at home, knowing that your parents look up to you or even look to you to say, okay, yeah, she's going to be good. She's, you know, one of the ones that out of my children she'll make us proud, basically. She'll make us proud, and everyone will say this to you at school, yes, you've got potential. And knowing at that time when I was in school, I was the one who would stand out when it comes on to like sciences, maths, which most students would hate. So they kind of looked at me like the brainy ones. Even things that I thought I wasn't good at, they think, wow, she's good, you know? But all of that changed due to just that one problem.
Was there a worse moment? Have you mentioned that yet? Or was there a worse moment?
My gosh, there was so much problems. It's like, which one is worse than which one? Which one is, you know? But my worst problem was back to my relationship. That was one of the areas of my life that just didn't get resolved. There's no way around it. And it was when I met my child's dad. You know, going through life, going through stages, relationships, you thought, you know what, as much as how I might choose the wrong person or be with the wrong person and they're not always mine, I would not be with someone who's married. That was like an oath that I've actually taken. I would not be with someone who's married. But then, surprise, when I met my child's dad, again, we was in the same party. We didn't meet in the party, but we met after the party another day. Then I found out, oh, wow, I've seen you in the party. But anyway, I thought, just looking, wow, he looks different. He looks like the type that I might go for, and he seems okay. But little did I find out, it was exactly what I vowed or I ought not to do happened to me. So we got in a relationship, and at the end, when I thought, you know what, he's actually not my type, I found out I was pregnant, and then on top of that, the news came.
That
he's married.
He's married. Right.
So it was that, and that was the worst moment for me. So from leaving from secondary school to sixth form, couldn't go any further. Couldn't go forward with my career. Then the immigration problem was there. Then the family, depending on the family, was there. Then remember, a child came. The man was married. Everything was wrong. Right. Nothing seemed like, there wasn't no blue skies for me. So.
But there are blue skies now, right? Yes. Tell us about how did things change for you?
Okay, at that time, I sat there and I questioned. I said, oh, seriously, God, is this how life is? You know, whether or not you go to church, I think it's normal. It's by nature that we sit there, if something happens, we think, oh my God, oh my God. So I sat there and I thought, God, is this really how it is? But I remember one day walking on the streets and someone gave me a leaflet and was inviting me to a church. I took the leaflet, I went once, I thought, what's this? I don't like, and I left. It was until that lowest point that I mentioned earlier, then I thought, let me go back to that place. Right. And that's how I went back to the church.
Right.
Yeah.
And what happened there when you went?
When I went there, I spoke to someone. I spoke to an advisor there. Spoke to me, told me, listen, things can be different. And not only that, but I've seen testimonies of other people's life being changed and stuff like that. And I thought, wow, what I liked was the way they were open. And even for me, that was a little bit surprising because I thought, wow, how can they be so open about their life, How can they? There were so many problems, different problems, even some that I thought, wow, I couldn't never speak to someone about this or be so open to strangers.
So you actually told them about everything that happened?
Everything.
The relationship problems, the spiritual attacks?
Yes.
And did anyone judge you in any way?
No. In fact, they actually told me, that can change. That will stop.
So they understood what you're going through?
Yes, they did.
There are some churches that wouldn't even talk about something as spiritual attacks. They won't mention these kind of topics. Sometimes some churches don't even know how to deal with those kind of things, right? But
that's true, yeah.
The church that you went to was open to talk about these things.
Open to talk about it. I went, and I tell you the truth, I thought to myself, a church, would I go in there with my piercing? I had piercings, piercing nose, ears, the whole thing. And I went in there and I thought, I wonder how they would look at me. My piercings going in there, being all ghetto and stuff. And the man actually spoke to me and was open. And I tried to be as open as I could. And they said, listen, come in these days, do a little chain of prayer. We will help you. And that's what I did. I stuck to what he said, advised me to do. Come here, do this, do that. And I said, you know what? I'm seeking the help anyway. So that's what I did. Right. I went.
What was the first sign that you saw when you received prayer or you started praying for certain areas of your life? What was the first sign that you saw in your life? Was it the spiritual attacks that stopped? Was it like that feeling left, that depression or whatever it was?
No. The first thing that happened for me was because I was so low financially as well, I couldn't help myself. I remember when I went there, my little girl was 10 months. And the place that I was living at the time, I had to sublet. So I was renting out that place and I literally lived nowhere with my child. I was staying at my sister's partner's house at the time with my little 10-month-old baby. That's when I went to the church. And I remember going there and they were speaking, the service was going on. And I remember taking back from the service something which was a little bit strange for me because I've never done it. And I went home and I thought, let me use my faith. And I used my faith at home. I did my little fasting and the answer came. I received a check in the post and I could literally take that check and go back to my home and start to pay my rent. That's the first change for me.
So for you that was wow.
For me, that was wow. Before coming to the church, I would pray, and this was even my problem. I remember sitting there speaking to the advisor, and I said to him, "What happened? Why when I pray, nothing works, but someone else pray for me, it works?" And I remember doing that, going home and being taught how to use my faith. That's what I did, and I saw that result. Right. And then I went straight in for the spiritual attacks to get that solved.
So when did the spiritual attacks actually stop?
It stopped after I decided to use my faith. They taught me how.
So not long afterwards?
Not long afterwards.
Okay.
So I did that, and not long after that went. It was a fight. It was a struggle, but it left.
Tell me, what about the immigration problem? Do you still have immigration problem?
No.
What happened?
The immigration problem, again, I attended a very important meeting, actually 2 important meetings for me. That was the Monday meetings, and also on Fridays.
Right.
And I actually made a chain of prayer in those days. And they taught me how to use my faith once more. I learned how to pray and all these things. And the problem was resolved as well. So
you've got your status in this country.
The nice part comes.
Okay.
It's not even the status. Okay. Before, as I said, I was this science person. I was good at figures and stuff like that. But the immigration problem got sorted step by step, little by little. The first thing they did was to give me the right to work, yes. And then I went in, worked, and then from there came an opportunity. the manager for the job that I was the place that I was working in said to me, I see you've got a skill. And I said, okay, what's that? And he said, okay, I'm going to send you to do this course. And I started my teacher training course. And my employer paid for that for me, which was a blessing for me. I thought, wow, like they actually paid half of my fees. And then from there, my passion came alive.
Right. And what do you do today?
So now, today I'm a teacher. I actually teach English to adults.
Right.
So yes.
And that's something you enjoy doing?
Of course I do.
You get up out of bed, you enjoy doing it. It's not like a drag.
I enjoy doing it.
Right.
And know what, even though I said, yes, I teach adults, but also kids, secondary school, primary school, tutoring, just to tutor, mentor, and it's been like wonderful, wonderful. It's more or less, it's the more you help, it's something that happened within you. So it's like a rebound.
Yeah.
They're happy, I'm even more happy.
Brilliant.
So that's my passion now.
Desmarie, thank you very much for coming and sharing your story with us. All right. So you see, Desmarie got her mojo back, right? She is now content, she's now happy, and she's in the job that she wants to do. She's no longer worried about, immigration anymore. Her life has moved forward, all through the power of faith. Now, we're going to go for a break, and when we come back, we're going to pray as we always do. If you have been touched by anything that she said, you can relate to anything that she has said that you're going through right now, then you still have time to call us and, include your name for the prayer. We'll see you after this. Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, what an amazing story from Desmarie. And something that she did, she got a leaflet, she received a leaflet from someone, a stranger on the street, and she went to the church. But then she left. But when things got worse, she actually remembered that place and came back. And no one judged her. She had, as she described, piercings, maybe dressed in a certain way. No one judged her. And maybe you want to go to church. You've been invited to go to a church. Your parents, your family, a friend has invited you to go to church. But you say to yourself, you know what? I need to take out my piercings. Oh, I can't go like this, the way that I'm dressed. Well, if you ever go to a church and that church or whoever's there judges you, then that's not the right place for you. And I'll tell you why. Because God said in the Bible, come as you are. I don't care how you look. I don't care how you dress, as long as you don't turn up naked. But come as you are. It doesn't matter what the outer appearance is. I want to help you on the inside. And if that place has people who understand this, who know that promise, that word, I should say, in the Bible, they're not going to judge you either. Actually, the chances are that those people who are there were like you or something similar and no one judged them. So, don't think I have to be perfect before I start going to church. Go to church now. Try going to church. Ask or look for help. If you don't feel comfortable, then at least pray at home. And God will hear your prayer, your sincere prayer, and He will guide you to the right place. Believe me, He will. He cares for you. He loves you. But He can only do so much. It's up to you to use your 2 feet to find the right place. And that's what I want to do now. I want to pray for you. You that say, I want to change my life, but I don't know how. I've lost my passion for life. I've lost it, but I want to regain it back. I want to get it back. I want what Desmarie has. You can. All right? So get your glass of water ready because we're going to go for the prayer right now.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer concerning your spiritual well-being, send your name and prayer request to help@findinganswers.tv.
My Lord and my God, I pray now for each person joining me who they feel as though they're not good enough. They believe in you. They want a change in their life, but they feel as though they're not worthy to even step foot in a church. I also pray for people who don't believe in you, but they've tried everything and yet they still haven't found what they're looking for, which is answers to life's problems. My God, as I mentioned, in your word you said, come to me as you are. Come as you are. And if anyone told me that I should change, I should do this before I go to church, I would never have stepped foot in the place where I go now. But I was left free, in other words, to speak, to get to know you first. And then when I was changed inside, then the things on the outside changed. And here I am today, happy, content with myself, and blessed. And that's what I want for this viewer here. That's what we want here on Finding Answers. For people who watch this program, impressed by what they see, but yet, my Lord, they don't know what to do. They don't have that strength to make the first move. So let this glass of water, simple water now, be blessed by you, God. And when they will drink it, remove what has been dead and stagnant inside of them, and help them to find the passion. Help them to find, my God, what has been missing for so long. And I also pray that this person will receive the strength that they need to make a move of finding you. Maybe it's now the prayer, or maybe it's tomorrow going to the church, a church, my God. So I ask you, Father, bless this water in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Drink this water now and be renewed by the power of God in Jesus' name. That's it. You found your passion. Believe in the prayer that we have just said here tonight. All right? And remember, God is there. He's always there for you. Finding Answers is going off air in a few moments' time. But remember, God is there by your side. Until the next time, have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.